Hi, today we're going to look at how we can use a REST API in Python. A REST API is someone who is opening up their services for you as a programmer to be able to use their features, whatever it is. For example, it could be Google Maps or it could be anything else. And today I will show you how you can use the weather service to check the weather at any location in the world from Python. So what I'm going to use in this little tutorial is the Open Weather Map API. So if we go to openweathermap.org, you can see this page, and over here in the middle you can see that they have an API. And if you find anything like that anywhere, that someone is saying that we have an API, most likely that is a REST API, and you can use it just as we will use this service here today. So there are a number of millions of things you can do with these APIs, and someone has already created the data for you, and all the workings around it is there. You have just to pick it up and use it. So we will just see how we can use this API here. So if we go into the API here, we can see that what we are interested in is the current weather data here. So we click that, and here we see that to be able to use it, we can call this API with this string, and it ends with a Q equals, and after that comes the city name, the city where I want to check the weather. So let's copy this one and just paste it up here and see what it looks like. So let's try London. And now you can see that I get some sort of error message. First of all, I should say that I have a little plugin here that will show these responses more readable. You will probably see it like this. But what this says is that, well, you can use this service, but you need a key to be able to use it. And if we go back here, we can go back to the first page, or actually any page where you see this. You have to sign up, and it's a very simple process. You have to enter your email and your name, and that's pretty much it. And then you get in, and then you will get a page where you will find this, and this is the number. This is your unique ID number to be able to use this service, and you will need this. So even though you have this little forbidden sign there, you can click on it and copy this key number here. So if we go back here again, and if we again try to go to this, so we have this, so I paste it in here. Oh no, I forgot. I need to copy my. So let's have London again, and again I get this, and let's copy this key. And what I need to do here is that I need to, you see that we have an argument here, and this argument is called Q. But we can add more arguments. So I will set the app ID equals and my key here. And if I do that, app ID equals, so the ampersand, app ID, and my key, I will get this. And this looks much more promising, right? We can see that we get lots of information. Down here it says London. That is the city I'm looking at. So we can try something else. We could try Paris. And we get something here, and we go down and see that, yeah, it's Paris. But if we look at the temperature here, we see that's very odd. It's not really, hopefully it's not Celsius or Fahrenheit, because that would kill someone. Actually, this is Kelvin. And we don't want this usually. So what I can do, I can add another argument here and say units, and I can pass in either imperial. You can see now the temperature is in Fahrenheit, or I can pass in metric, and now it is in Celsius. So now we have some sort of address here that we can use to call this API. So that is nice. You see that it works, even though if you don't have this plugin here, so maybe your result looks like this, but still you can get the information. The response we get here is a format that is called JSON. And JSON is a format to transfer data between applications, and it's very widely used, and we will use that in our Python program. Also, we can see that a JSON is very well suited to use in Python, because if we take a closer look at it, we can see that it really looks like a dictionary. And you can see we have something here that is called chord, that would be the key, and the value for that will be a new dictionary that has two keys, long and lat for longitude and latitude. And then we have a key called weather, and inside that we can see we have a list, and inside the list we have a dictionary here. So we have an ID and so on. So actually this really matches the data structures of Python very well. I will also use a module that is called requests to make things easier for us, and we need to install that. So if you go to the command prompt, we can install it by using pip. So pip install requests. Oh, just spell it right. So there we go. And it will install it. And now we have requests, and now we can use it. With that, all our preparations are done, so we can switch over to Python and start to write some code. So the first thing we need to do here is to import requests. So let's do that. And now we can use this to get the information we need. So we can have a response equals request dot get, and then we take the address we had here with all the information. Now I said I want Paris, I have my key, and now I have metric for units. Change that to imperial if I want to, but I take that and I, inside a string here, I just paste it in like that. It will become a rather long string, but it's just a string that we had. Next thing we can do is we can get this information. It's a JSON, so we can get this. So I can call this weather, and then I can say response I should spell response right, I guess. Response dot JSON, like that. And what that will do is we'll fetch all that JSON data we saw and unpack it into something that will match what we looked at. So we will have dictionaries and lists and everything in here in the weather part here. So to be able to see that, we can use the PrettyPrint module to print it. So we can say from preprint import preprint, like that. So we can use that to print weather, just to see what we have here. And as you can see, if we scroll up here, now using pprint, it will be easier for us to see what we have. And so we can see we have a dictionary with a key and everything that we saw. And now we just need to figure out what information we are interested in and try to pick it out. For example, I'm interested in the temperature for the city I'm looking at. So how do I find that? Well, if we look at here, we have a dictionary, and as we can see, we have a key called main here, and inside main we have a new dictionary, and inside that we have the temp. So we have a dictionary with a key called main, and in that we'll have a new dictionary with a key called temp. So we would be able to print the temperature by writing something like this. Print, so we have the dictionary, and the other one is weather, and then we had a key called main, and that would return a dictionary, and that dictionary had a key called temp, so it comes right after here. So temp, like that. So hopefully that will print the temperature. And you can see we get it right here at the end. So that's great. So I want something else. I want also, let's see, somewhere here we have, it could be good to actually print the city I'm getting back, because I noticed if I misspell something in the city name, we will get something totally different. So I will also pick out the name. So what I will do here, I will see, print something like the weather for, and then we pick out the name from weather, and we can see we have it, the name here. So that's the key, the name. So if we run this, we see the weather for Paris, and then we have the temperature. But we also have a description here. It says mist. So that is also something I want. And we can see we have a key here called weather inside our weather. And in that we have a list. It's a list with only one item in it. And that is a dictionary. So we have a dictionary with a key called weather, and inside that we have a list, and the first item in that list we're interested in, and that is actually a dictionary, and the key in that is called description. So let's see how we can fetch that. So print, so we have our weather dictionary, and we have the key that is called weather, and then that will return back a list, and we want the first item in this list that will return back a dictionary, and that dictionary has a key called description. So let's copy that. So we see we get missed. So now we can remove this pprint part here because we don't need that anymore. I fetch the information I'm interested in. I can format this, of course, in a nicer way, but now I can pass in and get the weather information I want. Just one last thing. I'm going to change the city part here. Actually, I'm going to break this out, and I'm going to add a variable here. So I can see I take this first string and I append it, concatenate it with the city variable, and then I concatenate the rest with the city. So the only thing I will do here is that I will just have it up here so it's easier to change city. So now we have New York. It's snowing in New York right now. So you can play around with this. Of course, you can pass the city as an argument to the program or do whatever you want, but this is how you can use a REST API. Really simple, and it will work more or less the same for any API you find, and we have all this information at our hands so we can use it to whatever we want, not just weather, of course. So that was all for today. So see you next time. Bye.